So I believe these questions remain unsolved and probably requires more research on that. Thank you.
If I can just add, because the session was about latest research, theories and development. So in terms of understanding what diplomacy is, we often tend to fall into the default diplomacy as the institution, in terms of what you were hinting at in the behavior. So diplomacy as the behavior. And in some theoretical studies that I've been looking at, more and more they're focusing on diplomacy as behavior. So really aiming for a very wide understanding of what diplomacy means. And sort of also going back to diplomacy before the nation state. So diplomacy as the management of relationships, of the engagement with the other. But this, kind of gets us back to the minefield of concepts and what do we call what.
Thank you. I think this is a kind of a very interesting conversation, and perhaps we can open another section. Does culture hurt? I used to write an essay before. Unfortunately, it was rejected. And the title is that the detriment of aesthetics, talking about 1970s art movement in China. And my paper was immediately rejected because the comment comes from that I don't feel hurt. And how do you say feel hurt? And well, what I'm saying is that when culture or cultural diplomacy become hegemony or kind of political ideology, and they become a kind of a coercive power, and that is not soft power, and then it really hurts, really, and it hurts very deep, and that's how I feel. And my paper, because my paper was rejected, it hurts me a lot. Okay, so we have 18 minutes to go. So any questions? So, yeah, please.
Yes, thank you very much for all the presentations. Very inspiring. I just have one question, probably two sides. Just now we said that there are shared issues, problems that we all try to tackle. Climate change, anthropocene, and sustainability, there could be human rights issues, etc. But we are looking at a very complex structure from international cultural diplomacy to cultural relations with all different actors. But they're all connected in the sense that they're also interministerial and between state and individual agents. So it's making it even more complicated. So my question is really, how is cultural solution different from political, economic, and social solution in terms of dealing with one common shared issue? And the second one would be, are we looking at more, because we're talking about so many different levels of cultural relations structures. Are we looking at more friendly network of networks like what Ben Kaplan said, or are we looking at, we still need some sort of structure in order to be managed in terms of international relations management? So this is my two.
Okay, so anyone want to respond? Okay, but please be brief. I want to make an end at the 20.
It's something that troubles me, and I'm sure it troubles a lot of you, many of you, that we are dealing with global problems, and there isn't a global governance structure to be able to deal with this. So can we, through these different levels of governance, grassroots movements, by doing little things that we are able to do, be actually able to find a solution for these big problems? I really don't have an answer. But I think if we all individually and within our groups try to do something, hopefully there will be a future.
I think it's important to distinguish that you rightly point out there are political and economic stresses and solutions. But you must think about how this operates, because culture is not time bound, while politics and economics is. Right? So political systems change and people are working towards time, and they're always continuously fighting time. Similarly, trade also, there has an agency of time that works in it, while culture is much more, long-term, and you continue to work through a sustainable relationship building. So you'll find that, while we do have convivial conversations and all of that, it does have impact in influencing and shaping ways of thinking. So you are always jumping ahead of a generation of political and economic leaders in order to influence and affect influence. That's the power of culture. And that's the power of cultural diplomacy over a long term. And they both work in parallel tracks, and they inform each other. But I think another community that's missing often in all this discussion is the community of bureaucrats, who are not political agents, who are independent and who run systems and processes. They are important to be part of that conversation where cultural manifestation and solutioning is found. So yes, culture might need a bit of that structure in order to explain itself, but it's not time bound. So it takes the time to deliberate and work through and bring people along, and it collects people as it goes along.
Maybe I will mention two words, comprehensiveness and diversity. Comprehensiveness in terms that we have to look at different sectors at the same time. Political scientists, economic bureaucrats, they all doing the same thing, but they don't know each other. Yeah. So we have to look at the whole thing as a society. That, I think, is a cultural perspective. And secondly, the diversity. We are different, of course, according to states and gender, maybe sexuality and ethnicity and so on. All, you have to look into all these different perspectives and respect everybody. That's also a cultural perspective. That's my answer.
I think Carla's word, just to add on words, remind me of a Chinese proverb saying, if you are going to walk 1,000 miles, you start from your own step. That means 千里之行，始于足下. And so that means no matter how the little changes might takes a long time, but to do that little by little. For example, we are now starting to know to bring our own cup is important, and to use less than plastic bag is important. That's the thing you can do. Although maybe you could not stop what at least you can keep the climate change slower. And sometimes the policies are more powerful one. But for example, like this legalizing the same-sex marriage, actually it starts from so many little movements and finally make the change today. So I sometimes feel it still needs to be optimistic for future. Yeah, and that will be something to look forward to. Thank you.
Thank you. Allow me to make a conclusion. Thank you very much for speakers and your questions and Jerry's questions. Thank you very much for your listening. And it just happened that recently I wrote an essay quoting 老子道德 Sutra, 千里之行，始于足下，合抱之木，始于毫木. Which means that any big trees start from a small, a small tree. So I mean that anything happens, who knows? But only do we keep a hope that we really have a hope that we can solve our own problem. The mess that we create, politicians' mess, they create, but we are going to clean the mess. And yeah, very good conversation, isn't it? Yeah, thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for your listening. Thank you.